Theo, thank you so much for having me today. I'm especially excited about this interview because it's been like 3 or so, I don't know, years in the
Yes.
making, but we finally nailed you down. You're a very busy guy. Tell me when you fell in love with art.
I fell in love with art at the age of 3. It may sound weird,
Yeah.
but literally at the age of 3, it was something that I found myself doing and doing it with a skillful talent that my mom was like, okay, you're not the ordinary child.
Yeah. Were you painting?
Actually, it was just with crayons, just
Yeah.
crayons and the refrigerator wall. So I used to get in
Yeah.
trouble for things like that,
Yeah.
but this is something I did every day, and my confidence actually came from my parents. And then my immediate circle, they were in a creative vein of some kind. My father, he did oil paintings.
Oh, wow.
My mom, she's a seamstress. So just being among creatives in the house, my grandfather, my uncles, they all are musicians. So they've done a lot of great things. So it was kind of like being birthed around it. It was like another day.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so were there formal art classes in there anywhere, or this is...
No, this is a God's gift. Really, it is. So to be able to literally wake up and do this daily, and it's just something that I just honed in over time, and I would practice every day. I had only one art class in high school, and that was just for a grade. And my teacher gave me permission, said, hey, create whatever you would like to create, just turn it in and we'll just talk about it. And so being that I had that permission to be myself meant the world to me, so.
Wow. So when did you decide this was going to be your path, that you were going to be an artist?
Sure. I gave myself permission when it was in my late 20s.
Isn't that the hardest part?
Yeah, because it's like everyone's trying to figure out what are they doing in life and who are they and all this good stuff. And so
Yeah.
being able to saying this is what I want to do, and this is a part of my story, this is a part of who I am, and to be able to have my own outlet, it meant the world to me. So I gave myself permission to be able to say, you know what, I am an artist. I'm going to do this and soar into this. So.
Fantastic. Okay, I have to ask about Fresh Laundry. Where did the name come from? What kind of inspired the business?
Sure. So Fresh Laundry, before the business, and still, it was just a young man who did not know his identity fully. Everyone else is they're soaring and they're finding who they are and they're making their way and they're making their purpose and their mark on life. And for myself, I felt like I wasn't up for that job. I felt like I didn't have that in me. I was actually going to do something detrimental to myself. I was going to hurt myself really bad. And I come from a family of faith, so it's a scripture in the Bible that's when David is talking to God saying, create me a clean heart and renew the right spirit or a steadfast spirit within me. And I found myself literally crying in a load of dirty clothes. I'm like, this is it. Like there's nothing for me. I'm so happy that everyone else is doing great in life, but I don't see anything happening for myself. And it was just that's like a little whisper that's saying okay, well, you got this art, you're doing great things in that. Let's see what else we can get into. Don't give up on that. So I think it was kind of like a message just to say, don't give up on who you can become. I think we don't give ourselves grace enough to do that. And so this time I was like, okay, I'm going to try something. And so anytime that I'm hanging my art, this is me hanging my laundry, just based off of me being in a load of dirty clothes. So yeah.
I'm so glad I asked.
Yeah.
What a cool story.
Yeah.
I see all of the faces. I'm
Sure.
fascinated by the faces. Have you always been so proficient at pulling out people's features, and what is it that you're seeing? Are you seeing the color variations? Are you seeing shapes? What is it? Tell me how your mind works.
My mind is a cornucopia of just randomness, right?
Okay.
So if I was just to stare at you, I would play with the light source of where the shadows fall versus the light source and the highlights are hitting you and everything like that.
Yeah.
The blush around your cheeks. But then also I would look at how it complements your green shirt and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But then also too, I'm always wondering well, what is this person like in real life? And not in a biased manner, but more so with the purest intent of what is the best version of this person?
Right. Yeah.
And so I always kind of play on that to be able to articulate and pump out actual design.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what inspires you. There's so much social commentary. I can only imagine when Black Lives Matter
Sure.
all kind of came to a head. That was inspirational. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. What inspires you?
What inspires me is just more my perspective for living. And so when you see these different, of course, you see these palettes of African American people or Black people. And that's not only my subjects, but coming from my perspective and my story, this is my way of screaming loud, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm a really soft-spoken person. I don't talk too much, but when I do, these are the things that are bouncing in my head and bouncing off my ideas. And I want to make sure that it tells a story. It's a conversational starter, and it involves everyone's story, if you will. So I know some people just like, this is Black history, et cetera, et cetera. No, this is American history. This is history in general.
Yeah.
And I'll continue to shape history. And the thing is, you have no other choice. Once you look at it, you can't unsee it. But it's more so an inviting way to be able to unpack life with someone. It's a healthy way to be able to dialogue. It was funny. I had someone reach out to me where someone had a T-shirt of one of my designs, and they were in Indianapolis, and they said, "Hey, is this one of Fresh Laundry shirts?" And they said, "Yes, it is." And they literally stood there for hours just to conversate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that shows you the power of art and what you can do. And this is just my witty way of telling my story. Because at the end of the day, my art is a byproduct of life. It's a stepping stone to be able to have these conversations, to have like these interviews and have this interaction, this life interaction, to be able to share life in a comfortable space or even an uncomfortable space. And to be able to just dialogue with life and just swap stories about perspective and understanding.
Yeah.
That's my whole goal.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your process.
Sure.
How do you go about, let's say you're getting ready to paint Madam Vice President.
Sure.
How do you even begin?
I go in with the intentions on what I have as far as knowledge or my perspective of life. So everything that I've gathered and collected as far as a thought and memory of random things over life, how does that translate and to be able to depict where everyone understands it, or just for me to get it out of my system and interpret it? So for example, with this one, I'm just noticing, okay, we have a new vice president, first woman.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
But then I have this traditional memory that's kind of like in a file cabinet in my brain of just other strong women and what depicts a strong woman, or what are some things that are over the years paid homage to women.
Yeah.
Of course, with this one being, like Rosie,
right? Yeah.
this was like
iconic.
a strong piece, iconic piece.
Yeah.
And so why not? I'm like a visual DJ. That's the best way to describe it, right?
Yeah.
So I mix all this different kind of pop culture and random things and make a big old just smoothie of just everything that we've ever seen and know over the history.
Okay, but logistically, like, how do you start? I can close my eyes and think of what Kamala Harris looks like.
Right.
I could not make that come to be on a
Yes,
canvas.
you can. And I'm going to tell you how.
Okay, tell me.
Here,
Tell me how you do it.
Let's play around for a quick second. Here, close your eyes.
Okay.
Do you see an elephant?
No,
Do you know what an elephant looks like?
I do.
Okay. If you was to start with an elephant head, what shape would you make?
I'm thinking mostly of the big ears.
Okay. What shape would you make it?
I don't know. Crescent moon-ish.
Boom. Okay, bring it back to reality. Open your eyes.
Okay.
So just that alone, all I'm doing is just making shape after shape after shape. When I see the nose, I see a triangle. When I see the eyes, I see an oval. When I see the head, I see an oval. With the forearm right there in the shoulder section, I see a big circle. And you just play with these images until you shape them and get them to the desired look that you like.
That is fascinating. So, okay, then how do you get into the colors and the shading? Are you using like reference photos, or can you just see
I use some
it?
subjects, yes. But with that, as far as the coloring palette, it's all just based off of my emotions and my feeling, or how I feel about that person, or what that persona they're projecting as well too.
Yeah.
And it's a fancy word, synesthesis. I can never pronounce it, but I hear color.
Wow.
And so with that, I kind of mimic that too when I see people, and I just embody that, and just kind of, it's a forever time capsule on pause, but with those colors.
So this is a full-on sensory experience
Oh yes,
for you.
definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Are you one of those people who likes to have music on when you paint?
I gotta have music on when I paint. I gotta vibe out. I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. It's part of the creative process, and I think all arts kind of flow together in some kind of form or fashion. So
Sure.
good music, and everything under the sun, all kind of genres will come out. Maybe Garth Brooks one day, it may be Yin Yang Twins the next day.
Yeah.
But
Does the music affect your painting, or
it does. And so if it's something that's upbeat and promising,
Yeah.
of course you get those brighter colors, and then sometimes you need something that's dark and murky just to get those deep depth, just to create the emotion around it. So,
Sure. You said that you are generally a fast painter. What does that mean? Start to finish, how long does a piece usually take?
yeah, so being a speed painter, it varies, of course, with size and degree of like what I'm putting in. Like, for example, like this Martin Luther King, that took me about,
God, he's cool.
thank you, that one took me about a good roughly 30 minutes to do.
That only took you 30 minutes.
Yeah, and so with that, it's literally just like knowing where my confidence is and where my brush strokes will land, just to get it just right.
Yeah.
But then you have other pieces that may take an hour to a day or a couple days or a week.
Yeah.
But just degree of how many layers that I'm putting on and how detailed I'm trying to grab. But sometimes it's just like I gotta get it out of me.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do.
I want to finish by asking, does the fact that your art is also your work and your business, does it take any of the joy out of it?
No. It is a beyond the honor to be able to wake up every morning and do your purpose fully. Where I could wake up every morning, I can interact with my daughter, interact with my son, interact with my wife, grab a tablet, grab a paintbrush, paint, give it to the world, and that be it. Everyone can't say they can do their purpose fully,
Yeah.
you know? And I've had that privilege to be able to do that every day. I don't take it lightly. I make it sure that every day it counts. Even when I don't want to think about it, unfortunately, I think about it. So there's no turn off switch, but it's for a greater good because it's bigger than just for myself. I call it the bigger picture.
I'm so glad that there's no off switch, because I can't imagine not having
Sure.
this beautiful work out in the world. So please keep doing what you do.
I will, promise.
I'm inspired by your work. So thank you. Thank
you.
you for sitting down with me today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.